Now I might be a little bit late to this, but the Club World Cup final was a movie. It was an absolute cinematical masterpiece of film that we actually have to talk about. And I didn't want to talk about it because I'm a hater. Seeing Chelsea win the Club World Cup was like seeing my arch rival get knighted and become the greatest YouTuber of all time, when deep down, I hate that individual. So let's talk about the Club World Cup itself and the final between Chelsea and PSG. Now going into this competition, I had my doubts. I didn't see where the true appeal of this competition was. But with FIFA pumping more money into this and getting all your favorite influencers to promote this tournament, I had to tune in. And as much as I wanted to be excited for this competition, I couldn't get rid of the thought of these creators actually being paid to talk about it. And in my head, all I was thinking was, do they actually care about the competition, or are they only caring about it because they're being paid to talk about it? I don't know. And after battling through the group stage of this competition, I decided, you know what, let's just give this a try. Let's take in the Club World Cup. And after big results here and upsets there, the semi-finals came around and Chelsea was still popping it about. They would come up against Fluminense, the last Brazilian team in the competition, with this team being an ode to the first Club World Cup winners, Corinthians, who were also a Brazilian team. But in this game, it wouldn't be a Brazilian side that would get the victory because Chelsea had just injected João Pedro into their side. Yes, he had transferred in midway through the tournament, joined the side, started in this game and scored twice in the match. And this is a striker that we all know from the likes of Brighton and Watford, but this guy is also a youth prospect from Fluminense themselves. They would sign João Pedro during the competition, start him against his former team, and he would flourish. And even though João Pedro would be amazing in this game with stunning finishes, it would actually not be as smooth as you think, with Trevor Chalobah conceding a penalty that was ultimately reversed by VAR. And honestly, watching this game and a few of the games that Chelsea played prior to this, they were looking extremely good together as a unit. The likes of Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, and of course Cole Palmer, all showing out and showing that they can, distribute their abilities on a world stage. And although this is not the best of competitions to really see who is the best, they were still holding their own in a competition with a bunch of, heavyweight giants. But on the topic of some heavyweight giants, on the other side of the bracket, it would be PSG taking on Real Madrid, with the winner being able to face Chelsea in a final, which honestly, for a lot of us, meant instant victory for either Real Madrid or PSG. Come on, these guys, they can take down Chelsea, right? And if you thought Chelsea's takedown of Fluminense was something to marvel at, then this game was a battering. Actually brutality in itself. PSG would obliterate Real Madrid 4-0. And when I mean this was brutality, it was, because by the 24th minute, it was already 3-0. Yes. With the first goal in the game being initiated by Ousmane Dembele after, going in to tackle Raul Asensio, the block shot would get parried to Fabian Ruiz, who would put the ball in the back of the net. Then another defensive error would occur, with Antonio Rudiger misplacing a pass going into the path of Dembele, and Dembele finishing cleanly into the back of the net. In the 24th minute, Hakimi would race down the flank of the pitch, put it across the box, and again, Fabian Ruiz would be there to pull it into the back of the net. And then late on in the game, thanks to a couple substitutions, Gonzalo Ramos would enter the stage and score the final goal to make it 4-0, with his celebration being in honour of Diogo Jota. PSG's attack throughout this game would honestly be breathtaking, with their highest possession stat being over 80% in the match. And with this possession and pressure that PSG were putting on Real Madrid, they could not stand the heat. It looked easy, and this Real Madrid side looked absolutely useless after coming off a couple solid wins in the previous rounds and in the group stages. But with the likes of Dean Huijsen suspended going into this game and Trent Alexander-Arnold, injured, they looked lost. And after this beating of Real Madrid, it would line up a final between PSG and Chelsea, an all-European tie that honestly would be tantalizing to say the least. Because coming from an Arsenal fan, we were thinking PSG were going to absolutely put belt to booty to Chelsea. But things turned out a little bit different. This Club World Cup final would turn out to be a masterclass by Enzo Maresca's Chelsea. With their game plan being aggressive, they were going to go man to man with these PSG players, with a midfield duo of the likes of Reece James and Moises Caicedo to bully these PSG players. And honestly, it looked like it worked, with Caicedo absolutely fatiguing the likes of Vitinha, João Neves and Fabian Ruiz. And after the blueprint had been set, it looked simple. Press these PSG players, counter and finish off your opportunities. And these Chelsea players sure did, with ice cold efficiency. With Robert Sanchez turning into prime Iker Casillas in this game, for the first time in his entire career, consistently launching long passes to the likes of, Cole Palmer, who could attack on the counter. And it was a similar move that led to Chelsea's first goal in the game, with a long ball going to Malo Gusto, who absorbed the pressure from Nuno Mendes and took advantage of it, driving towards the 18-yard box and trying a shot for himself. The shot would then get blocked, but the rebound would go back into the path of Gusto, and Gusto would start cooking a dish of his own, sliding the ball across the box into the path of Cole Palmer, who opened up his body beautifully and smoothly finished the ball into the back of the net. 1-0 Chelsea, and the stands were alive. I was seeing, Fabrizio going crazy in the crowd. Yeah, if you guys remember him, he made an appearance in this video. Yeah, he actually went to the game, which is crazy. And I'm here on a green screen, and he's watching PSG versus Chelsea. And despite Chelsea going 1-0 up, it was not over yet. It's not over yet. They would end up doubling up the score just 8 minutes later, with the ball being played to that right hand flank again, but this time it was Cole Palmer who received it, and again PSG were on the back foot. Constantly, this Chelsea midfield would break down PSG's ideas and put the ball into these wide areas that, their Chelsea attackers could take advantage of. And this was another one of these chances. But this chance wouldn't happen again, because Cole Palmer would grab it with 2 hands and put it into the back of the net, showing the world that he is really here to take the crown as one of the best young players in football right now. And as much as this finish looks simple from Palmer, it was a bunch of different things that happened that made this opportunity so golden. Because as Cole Palmer was cutting inwards into the box, João Pedro would make a deceiving run to take away the defenders, making him second guess if he should, go towards and engage with Palmer or track the run of João Pedro. And Palmer would use this opportunity to throw in a bit of body feints and flair to throw off the defenders so they don't engage too closely, allowing himself the time to place the ball into the back of the net. And this is just a reminder to you that just because, Cole Palmer seems quite, dumb on the outside, this guy is an intelligent footballer. If you watch every 90 minutes that this guy has played, he is insane. The amount of times that he is just spatially aware of, his position on a pitch, knows, how to really maneuver and manipulate defenders' bodies. It's just amazing to see. And you'd think 2 would be enough to make these Chelsea players satisfied, but no, it's not over yet. Because before the first half had even finished, again, these PSG players were giving Palmer too much space. And on another counter, he would drive into this space, see an opportunity, see João Pedro making a cutting run, play the ball to João Pedro, and unlike all the fraud strikers that we had seen in recent times at Chelsea, João Pedro finished it first time with a dink over Donnarumma and did a little dance in the corner. Hey, this is crazy. Forget Arsenal. After this game, I'm supporting Chelsea, because João Pedro just hit the Ronaldinho after putting Chelsea 3-0 up against PSG. These are sentences that no Arsenal fan will ever say in their life. We're going to go bold before that happens. And honestly, that's it. I ain't recapping the rest of the second half, because the game had been over before the first had even finished. Yeah, it was domination. PSG absolutely getting slapped by Chelsea. Chelsea staying compact off the ball, the likes of Caicedo and Reece James making the pitch look smaller, João Pedro being an outlet, Cole Palmer dictating the play, even the likes of Cucurella, Malo Gusto, everyone in this game for Chelsea was amazing. And if they were to take this level of football into the new season, I'm going to be shaking in my boots. And honestly, when I say this game ended in the first half, it really did. Because at halftime they did an entire show where it took like 25 minutes for the football to resume again. This is not what I come to see. And then let's talk about the aftermath, because Chelsea just won against PSG. Brilliant. They get handed the trophy. Donald Trump is there handing them the trophy and then stays for them to lift the cup. You know, I'm just so confused. I was so confused. People were confused. Palmer was confused. But it happened. Chelsea dominated the Champions League winners in a competition that was really, reintegrated into football this season, and were given a trophy by Donald Trump and lifted it. And in the grander scheme of things, this doesn't mean much to PSG. Losing one trophy in a season where they've won it all, it won't really affect them. But it does show that this PSG side is vulnerable. So Dembele, you better go and grab your Ballon d'Or while you can, because next season it's definitely not going to be the same. And even though it's late, let me know your thoughts of the Club World Cup as a whole and this game. What are we predicting Chelsea to be like in the season? And also, does this affect LeBron's legacy in the world? As always, I've been Jib Rules. Make sure you leave a like, comment and subscribe. And of course, stay safe, stay blessed, and peace.